getting that out.
See me, hear me?
I
Good.
can't see you, friend. Why look like a Final Destination joint with the door cracked behind you like that? Like so, like a nigga, yeah, a nigga just waiting to pop out on your ass.
I'm at my mama. This is her office. So like,
Okay.
if I'm over here on Wednesday or Sunday, I just pop in. She's a therapist, so she do her little.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, shout out, my saving niggas mental health. We
yeah.
are live right now, but I ain't put that on social yet,
All right.
and I figured that I'm not the one. It's not my account. I'd have to log in again, so I was like, let me get you up in here. And I'll tweet out the links and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna get on TikTok. I ain't tripping. I was, that was gonna have to be on my shit. I'd have to like join
Do
yours.
you know how to add? Honestly, I'm about to say if you because you got our TikTok page, huh?
Yeah, it's somewhere. I've actually never logged. So like when they'll be in a group like send out the shit, I'll just go on Twitter because that's the
Mm.
only one that I have like logged in. I probably logged into the TikTok, but I sure don't know it off the top of my head.
Does it pop up as like one of the profiles for you, like that you can like switch between on there?
Um,
Because
no, mine doesn't do that because I had made another account for something and I can never get on that hoe. It only does that on Twitter for me. Like I can just
kind of
have
switch
it.
over to it.
So I think if we were gonna
Cause
do it,
I got it, but I mean I never went live on TikTok. When I just had to add your profile.
yeah, I'd probably have to request. So like it would have been like if you did your account and I was on the no cap shit, like everybody you follow would be like Josh is live on TikTok, and then like your followers will see it, and then whoever else followed the account they'll see it. But
Uh, honestly, we can try like because I mean I just want to have to make sure that we can clip this. Matter of fact,
yes, okay, then I wouldn't
um,
even fuck with it.
I mean no, because we got it here. I'm gonna record this. Can I record this here? Well, it's gonna get. Oh yeah, it's gonna get recorded. I mean, it's gonna live on YouTube, and I can record
Okay.
it. For to the cloud. Um, but like if I'm definitely gonna go to TikTok right now to try to get this, I'm gonna get this social stuff out. Let me
Okay.
stop getting distracted. Um, now to and I mean I'm fine doing it on TikTok. I just wanted to make sure that we could honestly it might be a little better for us for real. I just want to make sure that we can have it somewhere stored so that we can clip it up for Nick.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't want to be trying shit when we getting on the thing. If just to make sure that it works, we can. But if
I
this
mean,
is
I like the idea honestly. And like I said, I ain't tweeted it out now. Oh yeah, as a you incognito on Instagram, not Twitter.
yeah, no, I got you. Could yeah, my shit on TikTok are real.
Let me tweet it. Let me tweet this from my page. Head over to our YouTube page now. YouTube page now, where I'll just do our names. You been smooth, bro? You know, bro, I got this natural Ozempic, bro. Like I told you before about like just I'm trying to drop weight,
Yeah, yeah,
getting back right since I got settled and all that.
yeah. Mhm.
Like I've been doing. I still want to like workout partner, but I've been doing decent with like the in-house, like the body weight stuff. Like
Yeah.
I got 100 push-ups today, and
Oh,
like 50, 75 crunches, ab stuff between crunches, leg raises, and Russian twists.
okay.
And then yesterday, I did legs for the first time in a long time, like body weight squat and lunges, and that shit killed me
Yeah, that nigga
on
ain't
my
never catch me.
cardio.
But no leg shit. The only leg shit I do is treadmill incline. A nigga won't never catch me
And
on.
that's why I'm like, that's really what I be doing. I'll walk it now. Um, so okay, that actually makes sense. Cause I was feeling bad because usually I'll do like a
No,
mile on the treadmill incline.
that's all
But
you need. You do an hour that
today,
shit, you be good.
today I got to like 9 tenths of a mile, and my legs are so sore. I didn't get my whole mile. But my appetite is like fluctuating crazy, bro. Like I have not ate today. Like I ate last night at 1 a.m. Um, my bad, most dancing. And I like until 30 minutes ago, I really hadn't even been hungry for real. Like even after we finish, I'll do a little smoothie like frozen fruit, cucumbers, veggies, cucumbers, spinach, and like
You
Greek
eat
yogurt.
you eat shit, huh? All right.
I mean, come on, bro. I'm trying to get like you, bro. I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You know, it's crazy. I think so. At first, like you kind of like training your body to get out of like what we do a lot of times. We eat when we're bored, or like
no, for sure.
when you feel like you should be eating. Like, oh, okay, it's 8:30. I had a little bit to eat. I'm like, I just ate this shit. I wasn't even hungry, but I was gonna say, in terms of like the squat and shit. This might sound crazy, but as an adult male, two things I will never do again is run full speed and get under a squat rack.
See,
I
okay.
just I just don't.
Honestly.
I
I was
just don't see the need. Like that's
on God slinging that. I mean, that's why. I mean, hey, honestly, I was really rocking with getting my cardio in the pool. That's the only reason I came here because they have an indoor pool. So I'll do
that's literally perfect.
I do like, but it's somewhere between like 10 and 15 laps a day in the pool.
Yeah, that'll be the best. That basketball, like I know everybody's different, and I won't give this out as advice, but me personally, you will never catch me running full speed ever again, and I will not be getting under no form of squat rack, clean rack, none of that shit. Like that's so those are don't get me wrong, those are great compound exercises, but a nigga like me who's tweaked hamstrings and ankles and knee, like as a regular civilian, getting a football injury is kind of crazy. Like.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that. Imagine I'm
running. Missing work, being put up for some weeks behind.
Like, come on, bro. Imagine I'm running full speed, I pop an Achilles just because I wanted to run. Like you can't. It's no coming back from shit like that. Like regular niggas get. You know, my mom hosted a party here a few years ago, and one of the lady's husbands, he had torn his ACL playing basketball. It's like that's the type of shit like a regular nigga blew his knee out. Yeah,
that shit wow. That's
he was at the party, like he couldn't even walk. He was at the party on the sofa with his foot laid up. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Popping Achilles and shit.
And that is exactly what I was about to ask you. Like that. Outside of, I mean, we talked about it before. Like, can't out exercise a bad diet.
Right.
But if I'm only getting out to like one and a half meals a day, if like I said, what I'm doing is that smooth to kind of like consistently drop weight.
Yeah, it just as I'm going, I'm still learning that the most important thing is sugar is not your friend. You need like there are different types of sugar, but like all that unrefined sugar, that extra like it'll say if you look at nutritional facts, it'll say like different types of sugar, added sugars, all that shit is. You can get the sugars from fruits and all that other shit, but like.
And I literally just went from honey to what's this shit called? Like stevia, the like the no calories sweetener. I don't know like it. That taste is though. It's a little whatever.
Yeah,
it's a marginal difference for probably. My brother was telling me like 200 something calories.
And that shit adds up over the course of. It might not seem like a lot, and that's another thing. I'm glad you brought up calories. It's such a stigma around turning the box around and reading it, and like especially with our like culture, I could like, oh, you lame as fuck, you read like, but that if you read serving sizes and things of that nature, you will realize like the serving sizes are a lot bigger than you think. Like, okay, so if I go get like the baked Lay's, the serving size is like 18 chips. Is that not enough? No, somebody will open the bag and eat the whole thing right there. 18 to 20 should be plenty enough. Like things like that, reading serving sizes. Now, the easiest thing that'll help you is that you're transitioning and you got to understand that it's not permanent. Like you're trying to train yourself to. We don't always want to have to eat like a rabbit and eat 1.5 times a day because, you know, when you start family, you get married. Like that's not sustainable. You know, you at work, you can't eat 1.5 times a day. You're not going to make it through, 12-hour days. So if you can train your brain right now to understand, like, cut out all these certain things, you can always get back to, so I'll eat something sweet once a week. But when I was not watching what I was eating, every time I'm over here, I pop straight over to the gas station. I'm going to get a Gatorade and I'm getting cookies and shit. I eat that shit 2-3 times a week. Eat whatever I want throughout and like there's no enjoyment in that shit. But if you eat that shit once a week, now when you start doing it, you can't do it once a week because then the discipline not there. So when I first started trying to lose weight, it was no once a week for me because I know a nigga like me, oh well, I just have one more today, and oh well, nobody will know, and then you just gotta be when you start. You gotta be hard up on yourself when you first start, maybe for a few months, but you're not gonna be eating like a raccoon forever. But you gotta get to. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, like you said, really, we talked about it before. Like that's my biggest struggle. Like even the clean diet, like
Yeah.
outside of steak for real, I don't really struggle with like a clean diet. Like
Right.
you know, I don't like bacon for real.
Right.
Like I usually sub like ground turkey chicken for like taco night and shit like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not that's not, but it is those you hit it on the head. Like, oh God, we lying about. Well, I put it out now. So, but being in a relationship, you gonna like sweets
Oh,
or
that
like
makes
that
it.
that
That
comes
makes it.
with
I'm
it.
telling you, bro. I'm glad you said that. Like, that is the worst thing for like influence. Our parents, our partners. Like, it's not to throw them under the bus, but like when you have, I'll give you them with my parents. Like, they eat whatever they want. So if I come in here and they don't feel like cooking a certain thing, they only got like pizza, or my dad might go get a fish plate. That's what you eating for. I'm like, oh well, fuck. So, but I think the advantage that you have being by yourself as much as you are, you can eat. Like, I know niggas don't want to do this shit, but you can meal prep ground beef and rice for a week. If you in the house with a woman, she not gonna eat that shit. If you
No, for
they're
sure.
not like it's like it's not anything malicious, but it's just a reality of like they're not gonna want to eat sweet potatoes and broccoli, and so you being by yourself, like you gotta take advantage of that because when they come around, what they call it, girl dinner. They want to eat fucking mozzarella sticks and pizza and eat everything out the air fryer and pasta and everything that you shouldn't be eating right now, or at least in moderation. Nobody wants to eat that shit. Like you can't invite a woman over and be like, yeah, we eating meal prep, ground beef. You're not. Yeah, she ain't coming back. Now you can eat that shit, and certain instances we need to eat those type of things to get where we want, but it's impossible doing that shit with a partner and spouses and siblings because they just want to eat bullshit, and that's all they got sometimes.
Nah, and it's crazy because like even like honestly, like coming up here, I ain't getting rich on this shit. But like my grocery bill, I'm already seeing like I budgeted more than what I needed to because
Right.
I'm coming from buying for two, and
Yeah.
even like wanting to make sure that I have enough. It's
Yeah.
like dog, like I tell you, my day was getting a little funny with my money
Right.
up here, so I didn't get my first check until Tuesday, and I had like
Since
went
you
to
been out there?
I guess I put some of the stuff out, so yes, we'll wrap. So I had like my fridge was like literally empty. I had one like freezer pizza. I'm gonna try to get this on TikTok now.
So you've been out there since early January. They just sent you your bread?
It was a whole thing about you didn't meet the deadline for submitting your direct deposit information, but I didn't have access to the system until after the deadline. It was a whole thing and a half. And let me see, like
They'll do anything to hold on to them few little dollars.
and the crazy part to me, if y'all checking us out, we just rap. It's okay, y'all. We'll get to it. Let us live. The crazy thing to me is because I didn't submit it on time, they had me email. They sent out a check to my mom's house. But this storm, my mom wasn't getting mail for a week. So they was like, well, we haven't verified that the check hasn't been cashed yet. We've gotten burnt before.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah.
I'm like I'm telling the lady, like, yeah, I can confirm, like, my mother hasn't gotten mail for. We was like, well, you're saying that, and we've been duped before and all that. And I was like,
yeah, with that shit.
you see, like, half the country is like the half of the country, a quarter of the country that's not familiar with this is like buried under snow right now. You like, I promise you, I'm not making this up. You can go watch the news, twin. So I'm such an old head teacher. I do not know how to go live. How do I go live on TikTok, bro?
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Is it the plus arrow? Live. Go
You got
live.
it. Let me go wash my grease. But let me go wash my grease hand. But you got it.
Yes, I think I did. NBA Live. Can I change the title of it? TikTok. What's going on? Hold on. What's going on, man? What's going on? We're trying out something new over here. We're trying out something new over here. I gotta see how I can invite you to TJ. Um, yes. Gonna do. I know the title says NBA Draft 2025 NBA Draft. I think. Don't worry about that, bro. Don't worry about that. We doing some trade deadline rap. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my boy TJ in here. It's on the we're just running the 2-man today. It is what it is. Do you know how to change the name of a live on here?
I do not.
This just says 20. I don't know why it says 2025 NBA draft. I don't know. It didn't even pop. I don't care. It's okay.
All right. Do you want to see if it's open?
I saw somebody come in here because I just tested it. Now I'm gonna go live on TikTok. Now let me see. Do you know where I can go to like invite you in here?
Ooh, I can request. I think. Let me.
Here. Okay. Bet.
Just let me go request.
TikTok. What's going on? What 6'7"? What the kids do over here? 6'7"? Something like that.
Damn, my nigga, the quality is so good on here.
No, I was just about to say crispy. Oh God, crispy as hell.
Okay. No, I'm gonna try to request, but I'm gonna get off because the echo gonna be crazy, fuck.
Okay, you good.
Let me see. I don't want to join no goddamn fan club. How do I request?
Joined. Now, I can actually let me. I can mute you on Zoom. No. Just checked it. I mean, I don't like, but apparently we had to hit some
milestone,
some requirements, like live for 30 minutes. It's okay.
That's
okay. On God. No Cap family. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? We've been yapping for a little bit. Maybe if you've been tuned in, you'll be all right. Come on now, life be life. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, welcome in. We got seems a little bit premature, just a little bit, TJ. We're doing some NBA trade deadline recaps. There's been so much going on. We still got the deadline, at 3 tomorrow, I think 3, is it 3? So 2 tomorrow, 2 Central. So we got about, 18 hours left? So yeah. Maybe a little premature because transparently, the Memphis sector of this pod, we're probably honestly waiting on the other shoe to drop in terms of launching into this full rebuild. But one half of the G&G era has been the G&G era is officially over with the trade of Jaren Jackson. So we'll get into that. But there's been a lot of stuff going around, TJ. Your New Orleans Pelicans apparently consider themselves contenders. James Harden got traded. I said Darren Garland got traded. Anthony Davis just got traded today. So Jerry McCain got traded today. And like I said, we still have at least almost a full day until the deadline ends. So we, like I said, waiting on some big ticker items, mainly Giannis and Ja. TJ, how are you? I sent you a tweet. Let's see if I can get it pulled up here.
Yeah.
There, folks. How do you feel about the trade deadline? The All-Star game is right around. It's kind of gives you a midway point to kind of evaluate your team, how you feel about your team, what's your team's priorities, all this good stuff. I think I've told you personally as a Grizzlies fan with the direction of the team's going, I have not been watching games for the sake of my mental health.
Yeah.
And some of the things that we discussed early, life happening, moving and all that, whatever do, and why waste precious time on knowing that I yeah, your boy's getting built.
Yeah.
So but tell me, my good sir, how are you feeling about your one New Orleans Pelicans halfway through this 2/3 through the way through the season?
I mean, I think it's interesting that the headline comes out where they're like, we feel like we're contenders. It's one of them things where when the coach gets up on the podium and it's like, what can you really say? Like, they're not going to put out an article saying, whether we agree with it or not, they're not going to put out an article saying, we think we should trade everyone, even if that's what some of these teams think, even if that's their reality. A lot of them are, like you said, delusional enough to say that. But the problem might be if they actually believe it. I think there's just an abyss of um, so many different things that have to happen for the team to actually be contenders. Like, yeah, y'all can read it. Jerseys look nice. Where everybody's dunking, we're flying high. We might beat a decent
Ricky
team.
Z is skinny, apparently.
And he's played almost 30 games in a row. Biggest knock on wood. Biggest knock on the biggest piece of wood you can find. Pause if needed. Yeah, I commend them for staying true to your guns, and you spend draft capital. And I think if you have a team full of players that, I don't want to say teams would throw themselves. I feel like we would get a lot for Trey Murphy. I personally wouldn't do it. I like Trey Murphy a lot. I like having him. I think he does a little bit of everything. But I think based on what I'm seeing, like some of these packages, we could get a lot for Trey Murphy. Now, the issue is coaching and it's front office. So getting rid of your players, keeping them, it doesn't change because we've proven that we're not always going to do the right thing. Almost we'll never do the right thing. Whether we keep drafting injury-prone players,
Twinsies on that front.
The DeJounte Murray thing, I haven't heard that much about it, but that's an absolute disaster. We traded, Dyson Daniels, and he's completely blossomed in Atlanta, and we pretty much got chicken liver for that. Like we're talking about not at the facility, might not even be in the state of Louisiana. So we're constantly making moves like that. Well, he's not in the state of Louisiana because he posted a damn video talking about go Seahawks, and wherever the fuck he was, it was not, and you could tell it was somewhere out west, probably where he's from, whatever. I just think if you keep seeing the same thing over and over again, and now you don't have a coach, what will make us think like, oh, you know what, the Pelicans might be right? Now, again, this is something that you have to say. You're a professional. You go to work just like everybody else. You believe in your team. You believe in your team's ability, but ability does not equal on the court product. That's the story of a million teams just across sports over the history of time. Ability, durability, availability. Like that's a team that is, 2 ankles and a hamstring away from being a lottery team every year. I mean, it's a shame to say, but it's the truth. Like contenders are teams like, okay, take the Nuggets, for example. The Nuggets have been rolling out absolute bullshit lineups, signs Jokic, and they win every night. Like they're putting out Spencer Jones and no Christian Braun, so they're rolling out, Jalen Pickett and friends, and they're winning. They're beating good teams. Those are teams that contend night in, night out, whether they're healthy or not, whether they're on the road or not, whether they have a coach or not. So I don't see any of that. I don't know how the coach search is gonna go, but the NBA is okay. Well, let's hire the interim head coach ass league. We've seen it. We saw what 3 times last year? Isolo, Adelman, and I'm forgetting somebody else, but like I don't know what it is about basketball. I don't know, maybe because it's hard.
You want to consider Doug Christie, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that would be 3. So you're basically taking these guys who, outside of the facility, we couldn't pick out of a lineup. Maybe respected, maybe not. Maybe have the ability to coach, maybe not. But these GMs don't seem to care, right? They're like, okay, well, next man up. I don't feel like looking for a coach. It's so hard to find a coach. They're so easy to fire, but they're so hard to hire. Okay, all right, assistant coach, head coach, and I guess maybe because it's more player driven in the sense of, okay, you can
sure. Remember in Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie won and Steve Nash, just get out the way, man. You're just the figure.
Yeah, it's like I think basketball, even as hard as it is as a sport, you can overcome coaching not in the way of like it is with football. If you have a bad football coach, sometimes it's almost nothing you can do. Like it's glaring. It'll show through. But basketball's not like that. Like we've seen LeGM get rid of head coaches, and he won a title.
Basketball is just such a more dynamic sport than football. So like there's so much stuff that happens, on the
Right.
fly, improvisation, all that. So I agree 100%. It's like you say, you're gonna, the coach, if he's not a ceiling raiser, a Popovich or Spoelstra, one of those guys, awful time it's a marginal difference. Although we have both been burnt recently by coaches that we think were, terrorist levels in incompetency in
Right.
Tom Isolo and your boy windmilling Willie Green. So,
Yeah.
let's get into this. There was a lot of time on the Pelicans, but it's our damn podcast. We can do what we talk about. TJ.
Yeah.
Like I said, got some shoes waiting to drop with Ja and Giannis. But yeah, Harden, the Harden Garland swap. You got something. You got obviously the Trae Young thing, which is not necessarily deadline adjacent, but big move list. Got the Anthony Davis move. Pairing him and Trae Young together. You got Kobe White to the Hornets. A sneaky deal that I'm very curious your thoughts about. Obviously, you got Jaren Jackson to the Utah Jazz. Before we dive into any of these, with all the notifications that you got from Shams in the past 24 hours, which one blew you away the most and why?
It had to be the AD one. Like I was kind of on my computer doing work and my mouth literally hit the floor. I was like, I kind of just sat there looking at it. It was like, and it's not like we can get into the basketball fit and the scheme fit and all the contract shit, but like I said in the group, just the stigma of being like, it's like some teams, you trade for players and other teams, like they send you players. Like Washington is a place you get sent. It's not a place you know what I'm saying? Like it's like
nobody's coordinated with their representation too.
Yeah, it's like
except Ace Bailey. Except Ace Bailey.
It's not like, let's go here. Like, come get me. It's like, no, you go over there. Like, it's not like, I want to spend the night with this grandparent. No, we're gonna send you by. Like, it just Washington. It is, for lack of better words, it's been a disaster. It's a revolving door of, freakishly athletic guards, no coaches, no culture, no, a team that's probably touched more talent than just about any other team. Probably objectively speaking about like
Porzingis, Rondo, Russ, John Brad. No, you are definitely right.
Yeah, so they will touch more talent than is fathomable, but like have done less with more than I almost couldn't believe it because it's like, not to disrespect a franchise, but that's a slap in the face when you get, like I said, you get sent to Washington. They don't come and look you. That's a slap in the face. And AD just, you talk about a fall from grace. And the craziest part about it is that was, the centerpiece of the Luka trade. So now you have to double back and like really, connect all the lines. Like, okay, so now we got AD for Luka, who's now on the Wizards, and we got back Chris Middleton, and they keep throwing Malachi Branham like a little bit of Tony Sastri's in these damn deals. Like he was on the Spurs and he was on the Wizards. Now he's on the Mavericks. Like I don't understand it. Now we can get to the point where it's like, okay, well, Trae Young, AD, if this was any other team, we'd be like, oh, okay. But again, it goes back to my point about the stigma of Washington and it being hell and it being, I know they had the situation where Ruby Rose was courtside and everybody's like, oh, the Wizards are back. And Jordan Poole was out there acting a fool, but
I was not aware of this. Let me.
Yeah, she was.
I was not aware.
In DC. I'll have to retrace my steps, but she was in DC, and she had Jordan Poole in the Prize Picks lineup, and okay, so yeah,
okay.
That's
okay.
That's ridiculous.
Before we get too on track, because I'm intrigued. But yeah, like you mentioned, you got outside of Anthony Davis's basketball ability, you got to frame him in time to return for Luka Doncic. So it's getting pulled up here. And this is not Anthony Davis, a guy that there were concerns about Luka's weight. I think the major deal they're making the move. But this is not a damaged goods situation. So you look at what you got for a prime Luka Doncic. 3 first-round picks, 3 seconds, Max Christie, dependable 3-and-D wing, the ghost of Chris Middleton, intriguing flyer on a young guy, AJ Johnson, the guy that we talked about before. Your boy Tony Satcher that you mentioned, Malachi Branham, and in a cruel twist of irony, Marvin Bagley, 2019 draft mate of one Luka Doncic. So yeah, that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah,
But I gotta challenge you, brother. I gotta
okay.
challenge you on the stigma of the Wizards.
Okay.
Not only I threw out the Pistons comparison to you in the group chat, but it's just dangerous scouting the helmet, for like a better term. Scouting the helmet.
Yeah.
We're looking at we're about to watch a Super Bowl in 4 days with a team that had 4 wins 18 months ago. So I just wanted to push back just a little bit on that, just because we've seen it recently happen. And me personally, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I was a big Trey Johnson fan. Coming out of last year's draft, Keyshawn George has kind of expanded his palette way more than what I would have thought he was. And then between late lottery guy that you get, I'm assuming somewhere between 6 and 10, or maybe 4 and 10. You're gonna get another piece this year too. So color me intrigued. Not necessarily convinced, but color me intrigued. How do we recap Anthony Davis's time in Dallas? I just had to pull it up here on ESPN. Just 29 games. 29 games. And then you've obviously season-ending injury almost immediately after the Luka trade last season. He had been out for a while. Right now, Dallas was 16 and 13 in the 29 games that Davis played for the franchise. He missed 54 of the possible 83 regular season games in Dallas.
a season.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and I'm concerned because for some reason he's not getting basketball injuries. These are like abdominal core, eye, hand, like these are fucking football injuries, banging. We're not talking about like knees and ankles and hamstrings and maybe he's getting like these freak accident injuries. And that's not going to get better with age. And Washington doesn't have a great track record of keeping players healthy. Now, I want to put that in perspective. There are worse teams, like the teams we are both fans of, if you're talking about player health. And shit, he came from us. So maybe that might be, partly to blame. So I don't want to be like, oh, Washington is hell. But there are worse teams. If you're an injury guy, like there are worse situations he could have landed in. Like I said, the one he came from. His time with Washington, it just feels like, you break up with a girl and you get that new girl and you tell everybody, oh yeah, she's the baddest, and I upgraded, and next thing you know, you done told all your family and they looking forward to meeting her and all this shit, and then you show up at Thanksgiving like, yeah, it didn't work out, and like, damn, we didn't even get to meet her. 29 games? If I'm not mistaken, you could fit 29 games in a month and a half. Couple back-to-backs?
For sure. Some 3 or 4s. No, that's a fact. That's a Fendi fact. That's tough. We move on. Hardline stance. What do you think this means? What do you think this means for Dallas? I'm assuming you're going, as most of these teams involved in the deadline, you're kind of tanking this year and kind of going all in on getting one of the top 3 in this year's draft. With the way things are shaping up, and maybe this is just some home runs are coming in. I think it may be expanding a little bit to a top 4 or 5, depending on how you feel about Kingston Flemings, Keaton Wagler, Darius Acuff, Caleb Wilson. Okay. What do you think this represents for Dallas? What do you think this represents for Washington?
I mean, for Dallas, what I saw last night, what I've been seeing, Flag is everything that we thought he would be and more. His stats over the last few games, he's around like 40 points, 8 rebounds, like that stretch of, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, 36 last night, 49 against Continental.
Yeah, and then like 44, some shit like that. So he's averaging around 40 points or so. These are good teams he's playing too. Like we're starting to respect the Hornets. We respect the Celtics. Like he's giving these team buckets. It's a rookie. This is a rookie that we have, lunch table discussed and talked about being pro ready since he was in high school, and it's coming to fruition. I think it's exceptional to see. I think they're all in on him, and I don't blame them, but I think there needs to be a safeguard for him because I think he plays with the expectation that, oh, they're coming to help me. not, oh, I am the help. Like he knows that he has to be the guy, but if I'm a young hooper and I know I'm holding it down, like, okay, it ain't always gonna be like this. It ain't always gonna be so challenging. And I think that's why it was so challenging for him off bat because he really didn't have much of AD. He didn't have any of Kyrie. So I think they need to continue to encourage his development, but there needs to be safeguards in place because they cannot tank around him. I don't think that's gonna work at this point. I think if they get to a point where it's like, all right, well, we can't keep guys healthy. We don't know what to do. Kyrie's not the same. Okay, but you can't start off like, all right, well, because that's how you turn into a team like the Wizards. That's how you turn into a team like teams that we don't respect. We get this great young player and won't put anything around him. Look at all these stars now that are requesting trades. What is the number one thing? All right, I don't have any help around me. Giannis, I want stars around me. I want to win now. So Flag is phenomenal. He's excellent. But y'all got to have safeguards in place. Nico was the scapegoat, and it has gotten exponentially worse since then. Like, if you felt like he was to blame, whoever came behind him really, like, screwed the pooch because you get – is there any way you can pull up that package again so I can see what they
it's
got
about what they got back
for AD?
For Luka. Oh, what they
What they got for AD?
Let's see. I got you.
Because I just want to put it in perspective. Like, if this is what you got for AD, are these when like is Chris Middleton even going to be on the team within the next 2 years? Like, and these are the players that you got. It wasn't like someone put a gun up to your head and said, all right, you better take goddamn Anthony Davis and we'll pick these players. Like there was communication between both parties and that's what they decided on. I like AJ Johnson a lot, but they got AJ Johnson at home. Brandon Williams, he does the same exact thing AJ Johnson does.
I would not disagree. My bad.
No, you're good. I'm just
Midwestern internet definitely not doing me too well. The Mavericks sent AD, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum to the Wizards for Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley, a OKC first rounder, a top 10 Golden State first rounder for 2030. I was like, so outside of the players, you got 2 firsts and 3 seconds going to Dallas. So
yeah, I'm calling malpractice just because you traded AD away. How many of those players do you genuinely, if you're making a team, right? If you're building a team, how many of those players do you genuinely want in your starting 5?
Oh, none.
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 Okay, so none. Now, let me ask you this. If you have a blank check and there are no restrictions, how many teams right now, let's say he's a free agent, how many teams are calling for Anthony Davis?
Blank check. Right now.
How many teams, if the Wizards say, all right, anybody can come get him, how many teams are calling?
5 to 7.
Okay.
I think. You know, your top 2 contenders, your top 3 contenders on both sides. Because a guy like that, even in, 20 minutes a night, 25 minutes a night, if you average out him missing games versus what he's gonna play, average 20, 25 minutes a night, that's enough of a boost.
We'll take that. Okay. So you have a player who you said 5 to 7 teams would come calling for contenders, getting traded for 4 players that no one wants. As a general manager, does that sound like you have done your job well? Whether it's the GM, the owner, does that sound like we are putting our superstar world beater player in the best position to win? Again, I'll say that again. You have 7. You just said 7 teams you think will trade for him. Okay, let's up it. Let's just say 10 because you never know. Let's just say 10 for all intents and purposes. And now you have 3 to 4 players that absolutely no one probably wants. Now, Chris Middleton can be serviceable, but he can't stay healthy. The other guys are always going to be project players, but you can't waste Cooper Flag's prime on project players because it ain't easy. It's not easy to build an NBA team. We have seen we're confusing, meteoric rises with instantaneous rises, like Oklahoma City, right? They rose fast, but they were down in the dumps for a while. So, they came up fast, but it was a steady process. You got to kind of take that blueprint of always getting players of that caliber. Dallas it's like the first time they get them, Brunson, Luka, AD, they're just shipping them out, and they're getting chicken shit back for them.
That's a fact. Only thing I'll push back in terms of the Washington front office, if you think about the position that they were in terms of kind of like that 2010s Milwaukee Bucks time situation kind of consistently middling. How we think of like the bullshit, all that now.
Yeah.
And the amount of bad money they had on their books with Bradley Beal. There's something to be said about getting up under that type of situation and conceivably building a core around building a young core. So yeah, not doesn't look ideal, I guess, for either squad. I guess more so Washington, Dallas. But hey, we've seen the ping pong balls. If you look up, we look up in 5 months, and you're like, oh my god, we can pair Ada DeBansa with Cooper Flag, move Flag back to kind of his natural spot of the four, which I think he's best.
Yeah,
we'll be idiots. And Nico Harrison has gotten lucky once before, so why not do it again? Last one, hard out on this. Who makes next year? Give me the status of Dallas and Washington top 6, playing, out of playing, and who do you think makes the playoffs first?
It's hard because Dallas, like, even through all their struggles of injuries, they compete hard. Like, we're seeing them in these prime.
Dallas is the better team, but the better team, but also the worst conference. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's like on paper, like, look at these guys like Christie and Caleb Martin and Najee Marshall. Like, these are not guys that anybody's jumping for joy about. But if you watch them, they play together, they play hard, like they compete.
What did you just say about Denver? They have an amalgamation of pieces and they make it work.
So I feel like I'm more confident if. Like, it seems like those teams prosper more than the Frankenstein jamming players together. Star player here, star player there, KD, Harden, Kyrie, like that team got swept in the first round. Like, those teams, we haven't seen that blueprint, but like a Denver and an OKC where you build and build and build and you have that culture. You can see that when the lineups change night in and night out, when the lineups change and guys are out, you can see that. The problem I have with Washington is they could have a 5-on-5 lineup on paper that's like, damn, that's a good ass team. But injuries, culture, fits, older guys you got a guy who, in Trae Young, who claims he wanted to go there. You got a guy, AD, who has been sent there. What does he like to do? He likes to pout. Trae Young likes to, I want to be a showman, but if he looks up and sees the seats are empty, he gonna start pouting. Like, these things matter.
He should be used to that being in Atlanta, but I digress.
Well, but sometimes they had that bitch jumping. Sometimes they had, like, as much as
Atlanta's a lit city. DC is a lit city, but in terms of basketball market,
DC is a cultured city. I don't know if I say lit because I feel like lit is like
don't get banned from a city now.
No, I'm not. Nah, DMV don't put the ski mask in the New Balance on. I just mean, like, when I think of lit, I think of strip clubs and car lots, and I don't the DMV is a lot like, well, one, they got more black people out there than I would think, but the DMV feels like more tight knit. They got a lot of nice spots out there. It doesn't feel like flashy to me. Like, it doesn't feel like a booty club city, to put it the best. Like, that's the best I can put it.
Let me stop you right there, because we didn't meander on this AD thing.
Yeah,
so much stuff to get to. I just gotta say, living on the East Coast for 2 years, being in New York, we gotta recalibrate your calculations, DC, brother. Some of the stuff that you name is readily available in.
Well, okay, it's been a while since I've been. I went to DC a couple times. It's nicer than
I see your point, especially on like NBA basketball side, but I mean, like, so what we're talking about, like, you don't think if they put together a 45-win team with some good young pieces, you don't think they could pack out the building? Or maybe not pack it out, but you don't think they could be a competitive advantage?
I think they could, because there are nights where they show up. Like, we just saw them on prime time against Milwaukee. They beat the brakes off Milwaukee wire to wire. Like, that's a team that we're not crazy about Milwaukee, but like, that's a team where we think that all 5 of their players are better than all 5 of the Wizards players, and they dominate that game. Now, yeah, it was empty and it was crazy to see, but those are 2 guys that can help you pack the stands. Yeah, all it takes is, I mean, look at some of the teams that you talked about: Detroit, Orlando. Like the Little Caesars Arena was the way
Charlotte.
that joint used to be empty is some of the crazy shit that you've ever seen in sports. I'm talking about you can get courtside seats for $30, $40. Now you can't get in Little Caesar sideways. So yeah, I don't want to make it seem like all hope is lost. If they put together a 45 win team, absolutely. But I just feel like Dallas has better culture. Not even I mean basketball wise. I don't want to start a war between cities. But I just like the way that they can compete regardless. I'd have to see it from Washington, so I don't want to put the nail in their coffin. But again, if them two guys are load managing like we think they might be, what are you gonna do then? Who coming off the bench? Who do you insert in? Like, do we think this team can beat somebody on a night where AD and Trae Young are sitting? Because I watch Dallas do it all the time. I watch Denver do it all the time. I watch, Atlanta might do it every now and then. We watch OKC. OKC will beat anybody without Shea. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen, but they do it all the time.
No, that's the thing. Okay, no cheating, hard, no sauce and no context. Give me the classifications of Dallas and Washington next year, and who is not even playing. Which team makes the top six?
I want to say neither. I'm gonna say neither. I can't.
Yeah, give me one, bro. So, hold on. I'm not next season. Just like in perpetuity. Who is?
I'm gonna say Dallas because I think they didn't really lose a lot in the trade. I know I talked a lot about Washington, but like you get Kyrie back, you get another piece in the draft, keep everybody minimally, mediumly healthy. I think they can get a 7-8 play-in spot and win one play. Yeah, I'm gonna say Dallas. I think Washington's going to be very boom or bust. I think they're going to be way better than we think with those two, or way worse than we think. So I'm going to go with Dallas.
Okay, I think I'll go Washington.
Okay,
honestly, it's not a 1-to-1 kind of like what you mentioned. I think I do see it more. I think I see a situation to where the sum is greater than the amount of parts that you have. But I like that young core. Like I said, does a Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, Bub Carrington equal up to one Cooper Flag? Not necessarily. I don't think so.
I think it's close. Yeah, I think it's close.
I think it's comparable. I think, like you said, on paper, I think you would still get that answer Dallas. But I think that some of that culture building that you're referring to is happening in Washington. Yeah. I think that it's you can't take forever. And versus, I don't know, there just seems to be a little bit more direction right now in Washington, from my perspective, than Dallas. So I'm intrigued. But that was a lot of time on two teams that neither one of us are super fans of. So let's move past that. Okay. Let me get my ish off. Jaren Jackson Jr. Along with John Conchar, Vince Williams Jr., and Jock Landale.
You might well pull it up.
That
shit was like an essay reading. I'm like, damn. they traded so many players. The Jazz had 8 players last night.
That is a fact. And something to tell that was a crazy tank off. I did see that because Nurkic was healthy. It was a healthy scratch, and they still won because Indiana's unethical.
Yeah, they said Nurkic
only for AJ. No way to really be able to go around.
Yeah, they said Nurkic would transition to a bench role. That motherfucker transition to an invisible role. It just a movie role. I was like, damn. You got 8 players. You want to put one of your 8 players in? Yeah, okay.
Jaren Jackson Jr., the longest tenure Memphis Grizzly of this post-Grid and Grind, next-gen Grizz era in Utah, along with John Conchar, Jock Landale, Vince Williams Jr., for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Hey Slow-Mo, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. Now, breaking down these first-round picks, which, unfortunately, for me, is the linchpin of this deal, because none of those guys I think are anything more than a marginal difference. Walter Clayton Jr. and color me intrigued. Yeah, Taylor Hendricks, color me intrigued as well. Especially what this team needs, a good 3-4 combo, or maybe even 4-5 combo. I'll get it for the later, TJ. But definitively, like I said, mid first round picks. You get the most favorable, I think, of next year between Utah, OKC, and another team. You get let me just pull it up, like I said. But you're definitively there's no top 10 picks. There's a lot of these picks are going to be between, I think, 15 and 30, which ain't great value. Not great value. Give yourself a little spiel. Say what?
I said, but y'all have proven to be a great drafting team. So,
but it's like I went through the same thing during football season with the Jets. You get all this draft capital back, and I think the Jets got way better draft capital back for Sauce and Quentin than we just did for Jaren. But you're gonna have to use this you're gonna have to use your draft capital on a best case scenario for the guy that you just sent out. Like Jaren Jackson, 4th overall. Yes, he can't rebound. Yes, he regressed this year definitively. But a defensive player of the year, multi-time All-Star outside of the top 3 in the draft, like that's best case scenario.
Right.
And I think that the equation can sometimes swing too far in terms of potential. We say it all the time, potential to get general managers fired. But there's not a lack of intentionality behind the rebuild. You're rebuilding, stocking capital, but it's like, and this is a situation to where something just has to be jettisoned. You know, why go all in on that? Like, as much as it hurts my heart, I think the Ja Morant thing is over with in Memphis. I think that is a situation where that needs to happen. I don't necessarily feel like you have to do that with Jaren Jackson. Now, the thing is, you know, are you moving off him because of his contract, or are you moving off because you don't want to build around him? Is Jaren Jackson a 1? No. In my eyes, is Jaren Jackson a guy that is a strong 2 for a playoff contender? I say yes.
Yeah,
I say yes. So I guess, I mean, we won't notice, but I guess the reasoning behind feeling the need to move is my biggest thing. Because if you're telling me like, yeah, we're gonna completely reset Jaren Jackson, you know, with his regression, you know, 50 million, 200 million over the next 4 years, that's not how we want to look with our direction of our team. I'll go for that. But if you're just like, Jaren Jackson is not a guy that's built to be on a winning team, and we just need to move him, we got to see what we can get for him. I'm not really a fan of that logic. Got these picks pulled up. 2027 Lakers first round pick. The most favorable of the 2027 picks between Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota, and a Suns 2031 first round pick. So Lakers first round pick next year in the 20s. The Utah, Cleveland, Minnesota thing, the most favorable, that's probably your best bet. And 2031 with the Suns is just too far to project out. Let me hop on my soapbox quick, TJ. Allow guide me if I go too far astray.
Yeah, I got you.
First of all, rebuilding sucks. As a fan, it is a egregiously just bad experience to have. So I think I gotta acknowledge that perspective. You know, obviously my job was to root for the team. I mean, but I'm going to root for the Grizzlies, and that entails wanting to see them win games night to night, not necessarily concerning myself with the long-term viability of it, outside of a situation where it looks completely inevitable. Like we got the Clippers this year, we got all 35-year-olds, and I may be a little concerned about the future, but like again, not my job to be concerned about what the Grizzlies look like in 5 years. That is that comment. So I acknowledge that. With given the fact that Ja Morant is a primary factor in the how I feel the lack of utilization around this iteration of the Grizzlies, I think there's definitely some mismanagement of the talent in this roster. Not going into this year getting a starting center when all of your guys were healthy, especially given that you really didn't know what you had as an Edey, crazy to me. So I mean, as many draft picks that you hit on, getting Zaire Williams with a top 10 pick, that really hurts you. That really hurts you. A guy like I said, top 10 pick, a 10th pick, that's a foundational guy for you in most of your drafts. You're gonna hope to get a foundational guy with one of these picks that you got back that may not even be in the top 10. So there is, and then Jaren sucked in the playoffs. Desmond Bane, was probably the most consistent of Ja's co-stars in the playoffs. But Jaren Jackson, the guy that you said that was on tap for $240 million to the Grizzlies. Had never performed in the playoffs like a guy that looks like what I just said, a guy that can be a number 2 for a strong contender. So yeah, that is frustrating to see the direction that the team is going in. Yeah. It's frustrating to see, from my perspective, the lack of value that you got with the capital or high draft picks. A guy like Jaren, his deal is locked in, so it's not like you're due for a big payday soon. Give me something exciting. Give me something exciting player-wise that I can kind of bank on. I told you about it. Just like even Utah's Tier B prospects, you're not getting Ace, you're not getting trying to think of Laurie, whatever. But like that second tier of guys that theoretically could be available.
That will make a difference, yeah.
A bright sense of ball, like I said, Isaiah Kaiir.
You can work with that.
Like you did not get anything that you can, like I said, you can make a safe bet on this guy's going to be a productive NBA player. And let me put on my NBA Republican hat for a minute. Not gonna lie. This happened because of Ja Morant. Hard stop. 2022, he dunked slam jam bams all over Malik Beasley. He's the guy in that playoff series against Golden State. He was on par with Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, your true 1A options, and they did not materialize. He did not materialize. He did not progress. He did not take that next step. Whatever kind of language you want to put on it, that did not happen. He did not become a guy, and that is what led to all of this this lack of clarity and ultimately this rebuild and tear down of the team. Now, let me take my Republican hat off. I am not gonna bro, you're giving millions of dollars to guys that are still 25, 26, 27 years old.
Yeah.
All of us make mistakes. The gun stuff, bad decision making. But is Ja Morant the only guy of that caliber making bad decisions? No. It's just not out there. So, I'm a cape for my guy. Of course. But I do feel like that this could have been handled in a way to where on both sides, organizationally and player. I think that there was shortcomings on both fronts that led to this disappointing outcome. Yeah. So TJ, as an outsider, not just an outsider in name only, you be rocking with game. What is your evaluation of everything I said, but also this Jaren Jackson created in this rebuild for the Grizz?
I thought it was interesting that you said about rebuilds, and I think a lot of times two things that can sting about rebuilds is when it's clear that you need one, but they won't engage, or when you don't feel like you need one and then it comes. Like, okay, as a fan of the Saints, right? It was evident that they needed a rebuild even in the last years of Drew Brees, and they just wouldn't. And so now it's kind of like a forced rebuild, but you can find light in the cracks or whatever. It's hard to deal with it when you don't see it coming. I never looked at the Grizzlies, even through all the injury stuff. Still not that far removed from a 2-1 seed in the playoffs, and being positioned to kind of make a run at the title. I never have viewed the Grizzlies as a team like, time to blow it up. I thought the Desmond Bane thing that caught me off guard, as a non-fan. Yesterday kind of caught me off guard. I was like, and the most interesting part,
you would have thought that Ja went first. I mean, not you. Right. Okay, so like most people, that was the
let me take that in. Let me take that and run with it. So if you feel like Ja is the linchpin, I think it's very telling that he's going to be the last one to go if and when he does go. So if you feel like I got to make this work, and I feel like they did it at the expense of Bane, then Jackson, because the order is indicative of, I don't feel like I'm splitting an atom here. Who you wanted more? Because if you get rid of, like, I know we get into all these, analytical discussion. I'll put it as simply as you keep somebody last, you wanted them more. Like, Desmond Bane is not exactly lighting it up in Orlando. He's playing well, but like, it's not like a slam dunk. They're showing you what you missed. He was doing more than that in Memphis. We don't know what Tripp will do in Utah. I think it's a competitive team. Their coaching situation is a mess, but mainly because they tank every other night. Maybe they'll stop doing that.
And Will Hart is a good coach. Will Hart is undoubtedly
Yeah, yeah, but it just there might be things of it might be above him. Like if he's getting whispered in the ear, like, "Hey, come here," like, "All right, we got 8 minutes left." Lori come out, and it's not. I don't want to nobody showing up at my door with the black vans, but teams do that. The Jazz literally got in trouble for tanking. They sat 8 players and didn't give out any injury report. Like they do shit like this all the time. Like it's.
And let me interject real quick. That will be a key component of this. Will be a key component for this team going forward because their pick is top 8 protected.
Right.
So they're incentivized to keep losing, i.e., not do what the Western Wizards and not play Jaren Jackson.
Right.
So that seemingly will continue to be the case. They want to maximize the viability of this trade by pairing, all the pieces they got, kind of like a Washington situation, all the pieces they got, but still no true 1A. I think Keontae can be a good true 1B, but you're still looking for your guy. You don't got that in, like I said, George, you don't got that in Lauri Markkanen. Jaren, you don't got that in. So I think that you talk about Ja being a linchpin for this rebuild. That will be an important thing to track in this draft in particular. What they do with their pick or not. But keep going.
I think sometimes it's, and this can go for anything, like when things are not easy for us, when things are hard and required, sometimes we want them more, in any other situation, the shit that Ja did, let's say it was football, he'd be on the first thing out of there smoking. But I think because it's basketball and sometimes it's a more intimate setting and you get closer with players and, it's less guys, like they feel like, this is our prized possession. Memphis is a very close-knit city. Y'all love y'all players, guys are revered around the city. Tony Allen, Z-Bo, it's all like those guys become, and Ja, I think of the video where Ja was in the restaurant and he tipped a woman and she was talking about her favorite player was Ja Morant. He's like, "Oh, that's me." And like kind of what he meant to the city and things like that make me think, okay, well, we see what he's putting us through, but we want to keep him, even if he's not the one that deserves to be kept. And again, I go back to the way that they went about their business and, oh, Bane, all right, well, we want Ja to work out. Sorry, buddy. And now it's like Tripp, well, we want Ja to work out. Sorry, buddy. Because if you're getting rid of both of them, maybe it's not plausible to pack them up together, but why not wait till you have, a set destination? Because sometimes not sometimes, but like as an outsider, it makes me feel like, oh, well, kind of like what Vance said, we don't really want to get rid of Ja. If nobody takes him, I guess we'll keep him. But what can you really do from there? Because is he going to pop because all his boys are gone? Did he want them gone? We saw the clip of him in overseas, and he was, stirring up trouble and all that other shit. Like, we don't know the dynamic. I don't know the dynamic of the locker room. Did he want them gone? Is he going to be mad that they're gone? Is he going to stay? Who knows? I just think that they have dug their heels in. We have to get this to work. And again, the way that they have gone about the rest of the team has shown me that they felt that everyone else was expendable. As long as we have 12, we can figure it out. In the coming days, in the coming hours, will they decide, okay, well, we love them too much. We have to have this. Like, this has to work. We can't have, send him to counseling or therapy or whatever they're doing behind the scenes. And all right, well, let's just ship him out. Because now we feel like we wasted our time. I can't speak to that, but I'm confused about the direction. But I don't think his story, wherever he goes, I don't think his story is
over.
Yeah, I mean, the injury thing is obviously a problem, but we've seen guys get second wind and second life. If he goes to Miami, he might love it down there. He might turn into a model citizen. He might, because we get away from the basketball side of it, but there are probably 3 or 4 guys in the NBA that can do what he can do at the level that he can do when he's able to do it. And I feel like we have gotten lost on that. And maybe in the back of, Kleiman's head and the powers that be, they're like, all right, well, shit, we can get another Bane. We can get another Tripp. Like you said about him not being a real one. You can't get another job. Now, is that for better or for worse? TBD. But I feel like there is something of an emotional,
for sure.
Something of a it's
the value goes way beyond what he does on the court. Like you
Yeah,
said, if it was just strictly about his encore production, A, you made a good point. He would be gone,
yeah,
and B, you wouldn't. There would be a more. There would be more calculated. It would be more calculated in terms of how
yeah,
this is going.
yeah,
Now it appears to be kind of leaning that way, with the reports coming out that they're not necessarily working with him to send him to a destination. But you're 100% right. Being with us every day, like you understand the magnitude of the off the court value,
yeah,
nothing to do with money, but what it means to the city. And I think that personally, I think that there's a reason why that hasn't been announced. Now, am I completely delusional in that it's because from a more logical standpoint, they're just trying to scrape the barrel in terms of value? Maybe so,
right.
but I think that, and I'm not calling Zach Kleiman the smartest man in any room that he's ever walked into.
Right.
I think that there is that calculation of real life world applications of what would I be doing to rip this guy away from this city and this culture in a way that you just don't have to calculate with Jaren and Bane. And so Jaren was there first. And Bane was there, I think it's there so it's not like just related to tenure. It's just about visibility, opportunity cost if he goes somewhere, becomes the guy that he was in 22. And then like you said, connection to the city. So yeah, bro. It sucks. We're using all the, like I said, we're both skilled orchards and all of this. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate to see it. And honestly, if it had to happen, I would like to get more value, to be honest. But having said all that,
Yeah.
13 first round picks for Desmond and Jaren, depending on what you get for Ja, if you can even get one. Not a bad way to stop the cupboard. The value of those picks, whatever. But I will outline this for you right now, Mr.
Yeah.
I have a list of I've kind of been burned into my head, honestly. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With all the draft capital and how weak the 2027 draft appears to be, there's only one scenario, or there you have to get one of the 6 following names in order to make this consider this a successful deal. AJ DeBansa,
Okay.
Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer,
Okay.
Kingston Flemings, Darius Acuff, or Tyron Stokes in next year's draft. I think that obviously in a rebuild like this, you're talking about you're using all the draft capital, but like you just mentioned, it's not easy to go out and get a true 1A. And you're in the business of going to try to find that now. And I think that if you don't, I think that those are the 6 or 7 guys in the next draft that has the potential to be a true 1A. And it just gets harder and harder as you go along. Not knowing the viability of the like I said, the viability of the picks going down the road, but also a fan base that's avid and frankly, is in discussion for relocation. You need to be all the way there. I think that there's more of an urgency to maintain competitiveness in a way that you're not gonna really see in other markets where you're down.
Yeah.
So I think that honestly, the play for me, like I said, getting one of those 7, because I don't think something really strange would have to happen for them to be in contention to get the number 1 pick in 27, which I think with how weak their class is, Tyron Stokes is almost banked to go there. But I think you have to use some of this future capital to move up in the 26 draft and get within that top 5 range, that top 4 range, and get one of these guys that is a pillar, that is a projected pillar. That is. What do you think about that?
I think what you said about the 1A is interesting because we are seeing it's harder and harder to go get that guy. Like every time we do this draft, when it comes around, we're like, damn. Especially, okay, so what was that? 2 years ago when it was Sarr and Reese, it's like, all right, does this draft even have that top of the line guy? Like, I give an example, Paolo. You bring him in, he's automatically your best player. He's automatically a force, or what we believe to be a force in the league. Like, you have to, like I said, you have to get one of those. I think that I would find some confidence in the ability to have drafted in the past. Like, it's kind of like flexing about your bodies, but like you have drafted all these players, Ja, Tripp, Brooks, Bane. Like you have the ability, and those are guys that I don't think Bane was a particularly high pick, was he? Like
he was 30th.
Yeah, so like we're on paper, we can go get us one, but like you said, like outside of Flag and Paolo and maybe Chet, like sometimes in these drafts, it's getting harder and harder to go get that guy. Like I think Sarr has started to come into his own, but Riche is a flop. He was just in.
Is he not still in the G League?
No, he's not. He
Oh,
started the other night. He was I forget the name of the Hawks G League team, but
the College Park Hawks, I
yeah,
believe. Shout
yeah,
out
College
ATL,
Park
man.
Hawks. You talking about a guy who was the first pick. I don't want to call him a slam dunk, but he was the first pick. Maybe he was a slam dunk then, but like he was in the G League. Like that's a flop so far. So you have to go get one of those guys, and it's always going to be contingent upon can you keep the guys that you have healthy. I know y'all like Cedric Howard a lot. I like what I'm seeing. Edie has like we've seen Edie go get 20 and 20, like, but how many nights can you count on that for? Like, I think that's the problem. Not addressing the center position, like you can help yourself. The Grizzlies need to make sure that they help themselves in the midst of this rebuild. So control what you can control. Not going to get a center. I think, like you said, that was reckless. Banking everything on Edie staying healthy. Vance talked a lot about he wanted to see Ja and Edie and just
Which I second. I think that
right.
you talk about opportunity costs. I think that you lose that not only with Ja and Edie, but also with Jaren and Edie. Because we talk all those shortcomings around Jaren Jackson, and he's going to a place to where he should be able to be maximized at least positionally, being next to a true big and Walker Kessler. So yeah, it's opportunity cost. That is another stroke of regret that you have with this. That a lot of people saw. I mean, it makes a lot of people saw that the start lineup of John Moran, Cedric Howard, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson, Zach Edey, like that makes noise for 48 minutes on a game.
Right.
Tom Izzo would never let those guys play 48
minutes. That would only make too much sense.
But that a healthy rollout of those guys, that does damage. And it's sad to see that we're never going. It's going to be a what if. It's going to be a what if. So kind of removing some of the home origin from it, and also letting us move because we've done 2 trades an hour. Who do you have winning this deal between Memphis and Utah, and who do you think will be better sooner?
It kind of feels a little bit like the Washington Dallas thing because it's like you have a team that I have seen Memphis compete with less. Like I think it was 2 years ago when they had 20-some players out, and one night it was. If you're watching this and you're a Grizzlies fan, you might get PTSD from this. I'm going to do my best. I think one night it was Vince Williams, Jacob Gilyard, Jordan Goodwin, Trey Jemison, and maybe Conchar, like one of them crazy ass lineups, and they went out and they beat Milwaukee on national TV. It was a healthy Milwaukee team. Like I have seen, strokes of competence and competition and competitive spirit, no matter what goes out there, and that's why I kind of lean towards them. Now, the only thing that I do want to bring up is if you do get rid of Ja, you will be potentially dealing with players that you don't want on your team. No disrespect, such as a Tyler Hero, because if Ja goes, that's who's coming. That's who's coming. Like they're not gonna send y'all. Well, you don't want to get Davion Mitchell and Yakachonis and Khalil Ware and be like, all right, thanks, guys. Like you got to get just to save face. You got to get somebody like Tyler Hero. Now you might not want him on your team, might not work, but
I think that may be a stretch, TJ, with just how.
So who would y'all get,
bro? My bad. We mentioned a hell of a game right now with Denver and New York. Dog, his stock is torpedo. Like I think the best player that we could have got / will got whatever is Ryan Rollins in the first.
Rollins. Okay, so let's talk about that. I said
that is the type of player. I mean, Tyler Hero, former All-Star, like I think that outside of what you laid out in terms of squeezing that absolute tight to try to make that work, I think a big part of the order of this trade is because that is the order of these guys' value. Nobody, for better or worse, wants Ja Morant right now.
Right. That's interesting that you did because I kind of talked about last night. I said I would have pounced on that. I would have. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm taking that 10. Like if I don't, let's say I don't even care about keeping Giannis. If you have Ja, you can go get anybody you want. You can sell that. Like Milwaukee is a city that has been able to win with homegrown talent. They can go get somebody. Ja, Kevin Porter. I like Bobby Portis. I like AJ Green off the bench. I like sparingly Kyle Kuzma in some spots. Other than
I'm
that,
about to say, boy, that couple running thin, boy.
yeah. After that, but I like Ryan Rollins a lot. I know Nick wasn't crazy about him, but like you can, like if you watch him command the offense, like he is better than you think. Like you can put him in anything. He shares the ball. He can shoot. He'll rebound. He'll defend. Like I think that. Well, that was kind of my point about like not want like you don't want Tyler Hero, but like I can see that being in the. I wouldn't want him either, but
I mean, I wouldn't say, God forbid a white boy gets emotion. I don't know how he would mesh here, but I just truly think with kind of the discussion that's having been had around him, and especially the reports that came out that they're essentially lowering the asking price now.
that's a red flag. Like
I just don't. I think that would be a best case scenario for because let's keep it all the way trill. Tyler Hero's better than Ja Morant right now, or more valuable. And I think that Miami, the same way that Giannis is going to be the best player traded in the Giannis trade. Ja Morant is going to be the best player traded in that trade based off the intersection of value and availability. I just think that's what it is.
You said you think Tyler Hero is more valuable?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. You would value it as a trade asset, I guess. Having him in your building, I'll take John Morant, even at this very moment. And but if you're shopping Tyler Hero, you're going to get way more for him than you're going to get for John Morant at this very moment.
Okay. So I think.
Oh, Jokic almost banked that in. That was my bad.
So what are we thinking? Like, okay, let's do a little mock.
Dog, it's gonna hurt. We might have to speed pack because it's gonna dog. I'm telling you,
it's gonna be
I'm a little tapped in. Like Ryan Rollins in the first, that would how we discussed it a couple weeks ago in terms of not accepting it. That could be like a best case scenario kind of situation. So
you thinking like Davion Mitchell, Khalil Ware type shit?
No, they might not even come out.
Because Spo hates Khalil Ware.
He does. I was about to say his talent would not denote, but they don't like him.
What it is, but
no, for sure. If that type of you're gonna take a flyer on a guy. You're not getting a guy or a certified guy.
Okay, how do you feel about Jaquez? Got Jaquez at home, Santi, a little bit
different play style. I mean that I think, like I said, I think that's right up in like.
Yeah, this is painful, like you said. Like
two first, maybe a couple seconds. Take some bad money on because of the space we created in the trade exception. And one French starter. So, like you said, it's gonna be like I said, a Jaime Jaquez, Ryan Rollins. Trying to think of Minnesota, Dante DiVincenzo. It's gonna be one of those guys. It's gonna be a guy.
You think because of the way that things have transpired, he has lowered or value has intentionally been lowered. Like, all right, well, we know you want to move off of him. It ain't the scenario where like, oh, with Luka, it's like, oh, we're gonna gift him to you. Now you got to give us what we want. It's like, oh, well, everybody knows you want him gone, so we're gonna fuck over you.
Oh, for sure. Okay. And I mean, and it comes John still has struggled to stay healthy this year, but he's not the same guy. Like, I've always, he's the. Not off the course, but the non-basketball interactions, the body language is still poor.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of complaining after every whistle. He's still he shot it really great in Europe for still a non-shooter for the most part, which how that kind of is oil and water in terms of today's basketball. Like he is not a guy like 2022 was 4 years ago, TJ. It was 4 years ago.
Yeah, I still think it was 2, but
for sure. You're right. So right now. Like people are even saying like Sacramento, like people are thinking that you could move Ja to Sacramento and Sacramento could still simultaneously tank with Ja playing. He's not a needle. He's not perceived to be a needle mover.
That's a fall from grace. I think that's yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And the connotation of even like because you talk about 2022, 23, like being traded to Sacramento 3 years ago versus now is like. We thought that they were up next. Like if you trade Ja out there a few years ago, they're like, oh shit, they coming. Now it's like Sacramento, we talking about them like we talk about the Wizards. And this was a team that we thought had the reins, and going into that playoff series with Golden State, they took them 7. We like, okay, well, shit, they'll be back. But then they go get Bulls West, and it's like, all right, some teams just can't stay out their own goddamn way. So I think, like you
I
said,
think that is one of the biggest worries I have with this. With us,
from the Grizzlies.
You have all the assets, deploying them functionally and properly. That's my concern. Because, like you said, if you're torn down to the studs, like we are, like,
yeah,
I don't see Cedric Howard wing starter on a playoff team. I don't see him as a cornerstone, or like it is a cornerstone like that's been reported. I don't see that. So you're gonna have to probably get a 1 and a 2.
Right.
And have those kinds of complementary starters, and that's just a lot of bank on with nothing but theoretical high school kids and capital to bank on. It's not like you said, it's not like you have not an Atlanta situation where Jalen Johnson was like, we're gonna move this guy, but we got a guy in waiting that we're really sure of, or even show signs. So
okay, yeah. Can I take that for a second? I think what you said about cornerstones is interesting. I think that their development would have or will be aided by the fact that they are not seen as cornerstones. Because if you have, let's take Coward, like if he doesn't even play that much, like his minutes, whatever, like the way that he plays, he's physical, he rebounds, like he looks like he's hungry. I feel like if he is, I don't know if his approach will change, but that can be a lot of pressure. That can stunt development, like being a cornerstone guy. Like you see those guys as complementary pieces. You absolutely have to surround them, or no, they have to be in the surrounding of, like you said, a 1A. Like y'all didn't see, Cedric Howard as somebody you would build around. He is the building around. Like you're putting him around. Cedric Howard was the bow, not the gift. He was the icing, not the cake.
Bars.
To put it like that. Bars. Now you're basically eating a mouthful of icing. Like, damn, Cedric Howard. We love when he comes in for 28 minutes, but that 28 turned to 40, and now you got the ball in your hands when that was never what was agreed upon, because you had the guy with the ball in his hands and the guy that we trust, the guy that we love, and the guy that we said again, the ability that almost no one else has, just God-given. What can you do for me on a night? Like, you can't teach that. Like, it's not, I don't think it's glazing for me to say what Ja has you can't teach, but some of that shit that he has and does, you can't shake, and not for good reason. So I think that's very important to be highlighted on. Like Coward and Edey, they were meant to be icing more than cake. So that might make it even worse that they have done these moves. And if they get rid of Ja and they only get, Ware and 2 picks, or, some absolute boof, it's like, all right, we just tanked in less than 2 weeks. A team that we thought was 2 pieces away is now 5. And it's like, oh shit. And for what? That's what I really wanted. And for what?
You and me, we have done a lot of talking to kind of come to that same conclusion. And for what? I think, like I said, I kind of not justified, but kind of mapped out what I think is the most successful game plan. Yeah. Like I said, out trying to get in whatever way possible one of the 6 or 7 guys I mentioned with that draft capital. But you kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of the classification of Zach and Cedric Howard, but also in terms of, okay, now you know the cupboard needs to be replenished. You're kind of working with one hand behind your back, because what free agent is going to come to Memphis? Shout out Chandler Parsons. So yeah, and you're almost wholly relying upon your ability to identify talent in the draft, which, like you said, hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
But fully going in, like you said, resting your job security on that's just tough. That's just tough. And at the end of the day, we have seen them hit on picks and mismanaged it. So I'm not even super confident in that strategy. We've been yapping. That's what we're here to do. Whatever we do. Let's kind of run through these a little quicker. Now that our team's out of the way. James Harden, Darius Garland swap for each other. LA attached a second round pick on Harden to get him over to Cleveland, which is kind of crazy. That was it, considering the difference between those two guys. We talk about team direction for a lot of this. What do you think this signifies with the surging that LA has been doing recently, the kind of the disappointing nature of Cleveland's season to this part? Do you see that this kind of change expectations for either squad?
No, I feel like, I don't want to say they swapped problems, but it feels like they're grasping for solutions. I don't think if Harden was
one or both teams, you say.
I would say both. If so, what's confusing me is there's a story about him wanting a trade, and he came out last night and said he didn't want to trade. I think if he had said, if we knew undoubtedly that he had wanted a trade, and somebody told you to guess what team or guess what teams would be in play, I don't think we would have ever said Cleveland. And will we have guessed Garland? Maybe. Will we have guessed a better package? Who knows? I think for the Clipper side, not having Garland, I don't hate the move. He's young, he's injury prone, but I think this is a guy that was 2-time All-Star. He was All-Star last year. I think his success and their success would, this might sound crazy, will hinge solely on the health of Kawhi Leonard, because that'll work. He will work well with Kawhi as long as Kawhi is there. I think Kawhi has become an underrated player in terms of the ability for someone to play with him. Paul George did it. However you feel successfully. Harden did it. Like, you can play with Kawhi. He'll share. He'll play nice. I don't hate it for them. I kind of hated it for Cleveland more. I don't see the need for it. They pack an offensive punch already. The ball handling, the usage is kind of concerning to me. Defensively, we regress. Does Harden help you with that? No, he does not. Yeah, Cleveland, for me, feels like they've started to outkick their coverage a little bit. Like, they got a taste of what it was like to be a top team last year, didn't parlay it into playoff success. And now they feel like, oh, we saw it. We saw that, like, we got to hurry up and grab it. Like, oh, okay, so let's go make a move. Now Nick kind of warmed me up to the idea. I think if one of them, I'm sorry, that was you. If one of them plays off ball, maybe it'll be better. I don't see.
But you're gonna have to. You're gonna have one, like, it's just. I mean, proverbial is not enough leather for both of those guys to.
Literally,
so
like,
one of them is going to have to.
And who would it be? Yeah.
Do results vary with one or the other?
Absolutely, yeah. Also, from the standpoint of, like, again, I talked about need and fit. It's like, I don't understand. I think Cleveland's problem is really just health. Like, if they had all their guys, like, that's a team that last year, at least regular season wise, earned our respect. Like, does Harden change that? Like, we see the tape is out on him. Playoff faller, and he wants to quit. Does that help Cleveland? A team who is one of the quickest teams to fall in the playoffs. Like, we have seen them constantly underperform. They've had 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed. Does Harden help you with that? Did they need one thing that we always talk about in these trades, a fourth quarter killer, a closer, like, who are you going to? They had one, Donovan Mitchell, one of the best pure scorers, if not the best pure scorer in the game. Like, I'm not seeing the need. I'm not seeing the fit. And this is not a guy you want to be trying to jam into a peg, like, because he has shown he will bolt at the first sign of struggle. There's a team that,
to be fair, like, just because we've been agreeing so much, I got to play a little devil's advocate. Black man raised in his professional prime in Utah, nigga, you be ready to run to. You would be ready to run to, especially now. The middling level of success there.
Right.
Never making a mistake. It's not like I'm chipped up or I'm going deep in the playoffs. Like, like I said, guy from upstate New York City adjacent, black, living in Utah, like I said, you'll be ready to run too. But keep going.
Okay, so what is the end goal? And to put it in perspective, what is the end goal?
Let me tell it to you, because we talked about this. You trade for DeAndre Hunter last year because you want to give a release valve of sort, outside of some ancillary defensive presence on the perimeter.
Yeah,
you trade DeAndre Hunter. He was career high.
And he struggled this year a lot. He struggled to shoot.
He's regressed. We've kind of seen Donovan Mitchell be overused. Not in terms like he's just true offensive weapons in the game. We've seen him be overused.
Literally
predictable for Cleveland. Yeah. So I think that my point and why Cleveland makes this trade is like, hey, we know at the very least that there's not going to be too much on Donovan Mitchell's shoulders now.
Okay.
there's gonna be some variance, some unpredictability in our offense in the way that we didn't have.
Right.
Now, like I said, where we agreed, was that the biggest issue?
No.
Definitely don't think so. But I also think that is their biggest issue definable and fixable? And I'd say no on both. If you had to put your finger on one thing in terms of this is why Cleveland has regressed, I don't think I can. Outside of them probably being too expensive relative to, let's say, set that they can have. Right. But that's not something that just happens overnight. This is years of roster building. But I don't necessarily think I can lay my finger on a reason or even a player archetype that's like, hey, you go get that guy. This team becomes what they were last year, 64 wins.
Because theoretically, they've tried it. Like they have the stretch big, they have the banging big, they have the traditional point guard, they have the all-world scoring guard. Like they have what you want, and it has not delivered. They even had the number 1 seed last year, did they not?
Yes.
So did they get bounced first round?
No. They lost. I mean, it's the Donovan Mitchell. Make it to the second round and lose. I think it's been every year.
Oh, they beat the piss out of Miami, and then they lost to the Pacers. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's a great point. I want it like there is.
And James Harden is a hell of a rival. I mean, playoff performance notwithstanding. Right. For you to be able to say, hey, I don't really know what the issue is, but we're about to bring in the Hall of Famer. If you frame it like that, not the worst bet.
Right. Okay. So let me go off that, and I will add to that and say, from their perspective, you can't exactly say no. So I do want to like acknowledge that I'm like you can't be like, no, we won't take him. Like when I said need, it's like, okay, so you talked about not being able to put your finger on. It's like, all right, what is the one thing? And if you had to guess, or if you had to put it up to, like somebody put a gun up to your head and said, even if you can't identify all of them, I don't think he solves that one, but I don't think he'll. Well, we won't know. I don't know if he'll hurt. The scoring punch won't. I guess you can move Donovan off ball because he's technically what is he, a shooting guard? He's technically a 2. That like,
something like that.
Okay, so I think Harden's pass first nature will help. I think he's been a lot more available lately.
Than Darius Garland.
Yeah. So if to your point about, we're bringing in this Hall of Famer like Darius Garland, if you needed that to take all, he has not proven consistently that he was able to take, like you said, no Diddy, the load off of Donovan Mitchell. He has not proven that he was able to do that in umpteen chance, whether it be injury. I tweeted out last year that those two were going to shoot them out of the playoffs, and guess what they did? Shot them right out of the playoffs, chucking after chucking after chucking. Now, in my mind, it's like, all right, well, does Harden help with that? No, but just that cachet, his name, his presence, like you don't feel that when Darius Garland's bring the ball down. And in the regular season, in the fourth quarter, he don't even believe that. No disrespect to Darius Garland, but he don't even believe that about himself. That makes sense. Like he does not believe, like, oh, give me the ball. Like,
I mean, no, more importantly, that is not the same. Like you said, it's not the same verifiable threat.
Right.
The opponent don't respect it the same way.
It is
like KD literally called this man out on one of the biggest basketball platforms that we got out here as like a sieve defensively. Like, it just like I said, maybe the error, but just that level of tenor and respect or lack thereof that he garners is not the case with Harden.
Right. So I don't want to make it, I don't want to, hyperbole. This is the stupidest move. It just at face value and like our instantaneous, I get hit in my knee with a metal stick. I'm like, oh, my knee jerk reaction is like, okay, I because it was prefaced by the move to get rid of DeAndre Hunter. I'm like, well, damn, that was supposed to be their move to, now we're starting to cook it. He struggled, and then they were like, all right, well, we'll go get Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, and those two will be a variable in this as well. Like you're bringing in a lot of bodies from various places, not have played a lot of serious basketball.
I do like Keon Ellis. I mean, because one thing that you mentioned that we talked about in terms of like what is the problem there not being able to put our finger.
He will help. He will help.
You can say 3-and-D wing, but 20 teams in the league need a 3-and-D wing. So that feels a little whatever.
He fell out of favor. He fell out of rotation. That they just have,
which is crazy for Sacramento for a team that does not have enough good players.
But I think that's a Doug Christie problem, just because like he is very trigger happy with his rotate. Like the way that y'all talk about Isolo, he will yank and pull like you have never seen. Maybe that is under qualification. Who knows? Who can say? But from the LA side, okay, let's switch over to LA side real quick because we haven't really for them. If he's able to stay healthy, but like the fact that I even have to start off the sentence by saying that I think therein lies the problem. Like,
For a team that has Kawhi Leonard, that is a hell of a lead in.
And if okay, so after Kawhi, like let's just do this. Let's you talked about us being origin. Let's just do basic 5-5 lineup. After Kawhi Leonard and Darius Garland, let's say both of them two are hurting one night. We got, I'm gonna do this off the top of my head, best I can. Chris Dunn, all right. Derrick Jones Jr. healthy, assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All defensive level guard, Chris Dunn.
All right. Give him that. All right. Zubac. Okay, cool. We like him. He's
all-star caliber center for sure.
Anybody will take him. Anybody will be happy to have him. John Collins.
Starting for.
I'll take him.
I'm a little.
I'm
not a big John Collins fan, but starting for.
All right, and now we're sliding into point guard. So we're talking either Kobe Sanders or Kobe Sanders or maybe Bogdanovich.
Yeah, that is.
So this is not their starting lineup, but like there is a very real possibility that the next time that they suit up to play, neither one of those individuals will be ready to play or available. So that's what you're looking at. And that's not a like we have talked about it on this episode about like holding down the fort. It doesn't really scream holding down the fort. Like I've seen worse. Don't get me wrong, I've seen worse, but like the young talent, like you should have seen your face when I said Kobe Sanders. You damn near like who? They got a couple of people on that team. It's like you click on once the game gets out of hand and you click on the box score, you like,
oh yeah, they say was that Kobe Brown over there too?
Yeah, you got Brown, Sanders, you got Yannick Cohn and Niederhauser.
Oh yeah.
You like who?
That's a fact.
Yeah, so
a lot of AI over there, huh?
Yeah. I don't hate it. I don't hate it for LA, but it just.
I guess my thing is
kind
of how you framed it. Who because we were supposed to be that. Who do you hate it less for? Because it doesn't seem you really like this deal for anybody. So who do you hate it less for?
You know, I feel like listening to you, I'm kind of getting pulled this way. I hate it less for Cleveland now because they have something to fall back on. Like if you have Harden in the lineup, that's 25 and 9. With Darius,
take it to the bank.
Like that, you can. There's that will never steer you wrong until it steers you wrong from a detrimental. Like, oh, I'm shot chucking and I'm turning the ball over, which Harden will do from time to time. But 25 and 9 versus you might get 19 and 7 from Darius Garland. You'll get the 7, but we don't know what's coming with the 7. It could be 7, it could be 2, it could be 22, it could be 42. So that's more volatile, and they don't have more to fall back on. I feel like Cleveland has a solid team. Jalen Tyson has stepped up. Sam Merrill has stepped up. Mobley, if he's healthy, can take that leap. I feel like we've been saying that forever, but like I feel like he's coming along with his playmaking, his shooting. Jarrett Allen is steady Eddie. Like they have more to fall back on. So kind of like getting rid of the initial that taste out of my mouth of seeing like, oh, I don't love that. I kind of hate it for them less than because. For LA, it's literally all dependent on health, and that is a horrible, horrible spot to be in because you almost, especially in basketball, there's almost nothing you can do about that. So I hate it less for Cleveland based off what I'm going to get on Friday when they are playing each other. What am I going to get? And for LA, it might not be shit. For the Cavaliers, they're like, damn, okay. You know, Harden and Mitchell might both go out there and give 30. And we're like, all right, well, maybe I jumped the gun. I don't see myself having that same visceral reaction when Darius Garland gives me 21 and 8. Like, ooh, like, and they barely beat the Suns or like, that's not going to move me off bat. I'm not going to be moved by the Clippers until they move me. I feel like the Cavaliers have a better chance of, you know, making me eat crow. Like, oh, you're tripping. Like, I can see that you're tripping.
Like I said, not to be I agree. I kind of agree wholesale what you're saying. That's just why, like I said, not trying to be not trying to throw you out there by yourself, but like I said, we kind of overlap a ton in terms of how we kind of look at that. let's get out of here soon. Hey, I got a Jersey Mike Glitch Deals
All right.
code to
Yeah.
use for a free sub. Almost 2 hours in all that, and honestly, with the big teams, more than likely set to drop, we might be right back here tomorrow. So we're not gonna ruminate too much on the Giannis Josh stuff, because we've done that before, and that's heavy, and we might be back come back tomorrow. Does Kobe White to the Hornets or Jaden Ivey in Chicago move you at all?
The Hornets thing.
What do these do? What do these do? I can't lie.
Kobe White, that was eyebrow raising just because I'm intrigued. Well, first I was thinking who goes to the bench, or does he come off the bench? And then
because they traded him. They sent Colin Sexton to Chicago. That's
okay. So the lineup would be okay. Let me see if I can do this. We'll do this again. We're doing this live and in person for you. We're gonna do Con, Melo, Bridges, Miller, and then it'll be Diabate or Kalkbrenner. So
I think that's solidified. I don't think. As good as Kobe White was last year, like
that's fine by me. That's a hell of a punch off the bench. I'll take it.
You got to think about it. This team, which honestly, was my biggest surprise.
Yeah.
In terms of this move, like I think you potentially lose more altering chemistry than anything else that Kobe White brings. They won 7 games in a row. How many times that we kind of talked about them in terms of putting belts to teams in these 10:30 a.m. games that not a lot of people are watching, but that's an intriguing team. I will fall short of saying good, but they're playing good right now. They're playing good right now, and I think my biggest thing is what we talked about with Cleveland. A couple of these trades. What did you need? What was the biggest hole in that roster? They'll have no problem putting the ball in the basket. They have no problem doing that. I think
you talking about the Hornets, huh?
Yeah, they have no problem doing that. Watch as a league pass fan of them, as a team that gets my click on league pass in a way that
you
would have never associated with Charlotte before. Like they got no, like I said, I'm not gonna be on it, but they have no problem putting the ball in the basket. Kobe White doesn't really contribute to winning in any other way besides that. So I'm a little outside of potentially being an adult in the room, I guess. But I think my biggest fear is that you might have messed up any kind of chemistry that you had going on. For something that needs to be marginal.
Yeah, to be honest, I want to say eyebrow raising, but okay, it feels like a move where we're ready to be taken seriously, but we made a maybe unserious move. Like, if you were to get your first big boy paycheck, but then you spend it on some shit that's like, oh, well, that was childish, but I got big boy money. That's all right. We're ready to be taken seriously. Kobe White is a bright spot on a doodle spot, which we believe to be Chicago. But like you said, and when you said adult in the room, that's like we'll put some air quotes on that because
for sure
he's like 27.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I think my biggest thing is like, what is the purpose? You're not really giving up anything. Colin Sexton, like I said, let me go through it now. You're not really giving up a ton.
And they're building I'm talking about a shit stain of a team in Chicago now. Like that
Kevin O'Connor just put it out there. No guys over 16 on the roster and 9 guards under contract. That is that's TUFF. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's real tough.
And that's all self-inflicted. That they haven't made a move for anybody. Like the Josh Giddey thing was like that was a punishment. He wasn't supposed to. He was not supposed to. If we view him as a budding star or whatever, like a very good piece, that was not supposed to happen like that. Now, yes, we saw the Josh Giddey blossom before Shea blossom, but we kind of looked at it as a one-off. We didn't think we thought he was done for, especially with the off-court shit. We won't, kick a man while he's down. But yeah, that's why I just wanted to leave it at eyebrow raising because that might be good, that might not be good. I'm like, oh, okay, what's that smell? What are we getting at? Like culture-wise, who knows? The Bulls don't really have culture. The Hornets seem like a little close-knit, like, oh, that's my boy. Like we turning up. We saw the little incident with Melo and his boy lifting up their jerseys and shit, and
that
doesn't really scream.
That's one way to frame it. That was
doesn't really scream Kobe White, does it? He's very like, wow, that's interesting. We know the clip of him like, oh wow, really? It's interesting. Like I can this might sound crazy, but like sometimes I think about these fits from like a jersey standpoint. Can you see him in them colors? It doesn't. It's not like.
I almost said something crazy. I almost said something super crazy.
Oh,
We lied. Animal working man. But it's certain teams or jerseys that what should you say they are for everybody. You feel what I'm saying? And I
okay,
think
so you think
Charlotte is like, bro, they like dog. It's Charlotte, first of all. Not disrespect Charlotte, shout out in North Carolina with Petey Pablo, all that. But like, I don't think that there's look at it like a Washington thing, like
yeah, that's a better example than
like it's
okay,
like dog, like
what's a team that like if you put the jersey on, like if you don't fit it, you will stick out like
Dallas, Memphis. Memphis had Vince out of
Memphis,
and they both looked horrendous.
You know what, Memphis? It's the light blue one. Like if you're not supposed to be in that jersey, like can you imagine Tyler Hero and that shit? That shit wouldn't even look right. That shit wouldn't even look right.
Let me get out of home territory.
You can't see it.
Jake, I'm trying to think of like specific examples. Like, I don't think everybody belongs on the Knicks.
No,
I don't think everybody. You can't be a misfit. I'm trying to think of who. Like, what I mean, and maybe he sucks right now too. But like, Yabusele has never really looked right out there.
No, it doesn't. Like, it doesn't.
He be wearing like 77. Like, dog, you out there playing tight end. Like, why is Darnell Washington on the Knicks right now? Like, it doesn't really
look right. I don't think Jordan Clarkson doesn't look right to me.
In Utah. Oh no, in the Knicks. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I thought it was gonna be like Yabusele. Like, yeah.
Trying to think, what other teams do you feel like?
You talking about like a safe jersey? I feel like
either a safe jersey, or a jersey, like I said, a non-safe.
I feel like Phoenix is a safe jersey, like even because it's like it's purple and orange.
West Coast, like you said, the arena's kind of colorful. That's okay.
Yeah, I feel like because even when we had Beal and you had KD, like I know they weren't originals, but like it looked fine. Like maybe Houston.
Yeah, but Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Russ never really looked crazy.
I feel like I can't see Ja in red. I can't like the Miami. I don't know if I can see it.
Man, say it again. Say it loud, TJ. Say it
loud. Can you imagine Ja in that ugly ass black jersey?
But then again, it's like I was about to pull up Miami as one of the teams that I feel like anybody can fit there, jersey wise. Like trying to think of a guy that truly looked out of place, in one of their jerseys. Like you don't really look at them like that. Trying to think.
Who would have been a guy that was out of place? Well, that maroon, like that dark one, like I feel like it's a safe. Like, who was somebody that looked funny as fucking in a Heat jersey? That's a good point. I can't.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, you got the all white, you got the all black. You got the red with the block letters. It's not a lot of contrast, I guess, over their jersey.
Yeah, it's a safe color. Yeah, I just wanted to put this on your mind as like an exercise. Like, okay, when I think of a player fitting, like, okay, Harden on the Cavs.
And we'll wrap after this because I don't know how much you really care about Jay Knight, especially on that roster.
Yeah, they got a bunch of him. I feel like Harden in that ugly ass no aura white jersey is not gonna look right. Like, I like Cleveland. I like how they brought back the blue one with the gold and
for sure. That is the default jersey I think of when I think of Braun, for real.
So Harden can make that work, but the white one that just has Cavs on it, like I don't.
And that's like their usual go-to. Yeah, it's kind of
it's not gonna look. It's not gonna.
Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a place to where you can be a misfit real quick. Like I'm like their jerseys are kind of bland, whatever. But like, yeah,
I'll give you an example. Jericho Sims does not look right in them colors.
No, for sure,
not at all.
For sure,
it doesn't work. It doesn't. Miles Turner doesn't work.
You're right. I'm thinking some OG shit like Kevin Willis, like, and he was there for a while, but it didn't. Okay. Let me go.
Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague did not look
for sure. Right. Shout out Club 520.
Yeah, did not look right.
Yeah. I don't think everybody can rock Atlanta colors either. I'm not gonna lie. I don't.
Okay, now look, the OG, the pixelated, the gray ones.
Oh, the Joe Johnson, as I
will look so washed in them
for sure.
Like the Capella green, like when they had the neon green. Like if you was ass, you go.
Oh yeah, the NBA rush jumps. Oh
You,
yeah,
I can hear the Wash anthem playing right now. Like
oh god,
you,
cue
yeah,
the Charlie Wilson. Now,
yeah.
good caca for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like Kent Bazemore. Like if you, Kevin Herter, if you're not supposed to be in that jersey, you
No, for
ain't going.
sure.
The damn
Niggas out here the Seattle Hawks. Yeah, that was
that
back
shit.
era.
That shit was like you said, good booth. The damn pixelated gray with the green, like that shit was. Yeah, that's up there with them Utah piss yellow ones with the big ass letters. Yeah.
Okay, and we'll wrap into this. One team I think is solidified, because they've done it with Jokic. You have to be almost physically impaired to look bad in a different Nuggets jerseys. Like even the all black they had on this against New York, fire.
Right.
They got the rainbow ones. They got the mellow AI era, the baby blue. And they do a lot of alternates with their stuff too. So I think you will be hard pressed to find an example if you can of a guy that looked like a misfit in a Denver Nuggets.
All right, I got one, and we can end it like this. This would be the opposite. There is almost no one that can make this jersey look good that hasn't been drafted by the team, and I feel like you might know what I'm about to say. It's the Pelicans. It's the Pelicans.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna drop the names.
I was going with these creamsicle Clippers jerseys that we talked about.
I'm gonna drop the names on you. And these individuals have been in Pelicans colors. Can you imagine Eric Bledsoe in a Pelicans jersey? Can you see that in your mind? Eric Bledsoe,
he was
Boogie Cousins. I'll give you an example on the team right now. Jordan Poole does not look right in that shit at all. Doesn't look right.
And y'all have some hard jerseys. That's the thing. Y'all got the red. I like the all black with the neon.
The blue jump. The neon.
Yeah.
Think about it.
It's a duller blue. It's like this blue. Like,
and then the letters are little as, and then that ugly ass red that just says new. Like the red is so bad. Like
hard. I like the red. I like the red. I cannot lie.
I don't fuck with.
I like the red.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're not a native Pell, like DeJounte Murray didn't look right. Like I hate the shit on my own team. I don't really hate the shit on him, but yeah. And then maybe Boston. Like you'll usually look okay in green.
It gets a little difficult because the type of city that Boston is.
Who was the biggest Celtics sore thumb besides Shaq? Like who was the biggest?
Ooh, that can be hit and miss with all that white and kind of a green as a shock. Like
was it Blake Griffin? Was it Enes Kanter? Who do you think has been like you don't fit in this?
Let me try to find an example of my own because you threw out a couple that was good, right?
All right, the last one that is Aaron Nesmith. After that, I'm gonna let you come up with one because
let me see. And it's because he was actually good for me too. And I feel like I'm about to go to the roster right now. I feel like there's a guy on there right now that doesn't fit.
David Tillman when he was on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that nigga did not look right in no fucking.
No. I gotta go deep in the bag, but it's just too traditionalist. You can't have a Y in Celtic colors. Like
Anthony.
Not to shit on y'all. All prosperity, even though you're black rooting for a Boston team. But can you you draft Darius Acuff? Like Darius Acuff, Detroit. Like I said, the Detroit with the Boson in green,
and Ace Bailey would have been some booth in green.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. I got
that is a very traditionalist kind of palette.
He would have been some booth in green. You ain't lying. You ain't never lying.
TJ.
Yeah.
2 hours, man. We did it. And there's a very good chance, like you said, that we could be back right again tomorrow.
It's in time to catch the Grizzlies play the Kings.
Man, dog, I will not be watching that. No, not at all. So this is NCS part 1, ? Trade deadline recap. TJ, if I didn't know him too much, we can probably see what we feel about this Giannis and Josh stuff at some point tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, they might come out as soon as we get off this hole, they're gonna get fucking traded. And
while I was kind of stalling because I felt the exact same way. Yeah. But you never know. And like we talked about length with the Morant type of situation, it could be that could be a situation, a white knuckle situation. Yeah, you're squeezing, holding on for dear life. But y'all, we did it. I got 2 hours of content. We'll probably get a decent amount of clips up for us. No Cap Sports 2026 NBA trade deadline recap in, out, got it. Boom.